Hey, we made it.
Hey,
We
it's
are
us.
not dead.
It's us. It's you. We're here.
Yeah. I'm
It's
here
all
for
like-
now.
Unlike Italian politicians, we probably aren't going to be interrupted by hentai. Hey!
Yet.
Yeah, don't get your hopes up, Tim.
Yet.
Yeah, that was wild. There is some like, I don't know, Italian political meeting of some kind. And they were doing it via Zoom or whatever. And all of a sudden some member of the Zoom meeting, and they just had like tons of people connected to the meeting, so they don't really know who it was, just had some Final Fantasy VII hentai going, and that was just broadcast on like Italian C-SPAN for like a good 20 seconds before they figured it out. You just see them all like yelling like, yo, what the fuck is going on? This is not okay. And then they just like act like it didn't happen, which I guess, you know, it's kind of what you got to do.
I mean, what else could you do in that situation, you know?
Yeah, I like the way the Kotaku article described that. Of the guy just like basically sighed and just like continued on with his notes. Just was just like,
I mean, they're Italians. They're used to just
anyways, like
sex everywhere because reasons.
Yeah, I mean that's true. Also, how are you guys doing? Since we kind of just totally like
Tim jumped right into the first thing.
He was like, Tim was like, I want to talk about hentai today.
I wanted to make a joke, and it worked.
Man,
how was your week, boys?
You know, it's fine. I've been playing video games.
Any good video games?
Well, yeah, but also I've been playing video games on the Nintendo Switch Online N64, whatever you want to call it.
I did see you mention that.
Yeah, there's you know, there's not like a ton of games on there right now, but I have been playing. They have Paper Mario on there, and I never played Paper Mario for the N64, so it's been really fun checking that out because I'm a big fan of the Paper Mario series in general, and a lot of the games on the N64 on the Nintendo Switch expansion pack, people have said are like kind of like really bad versions. And so far I haven't had any issues with Paper Mario, at least, and I've like tried just like fucking around in some of the other titles for a couple of minutes. So I haven't got too extensive in it yet, but I was really excited because I saw an article today saying that Banjo Kazooie just dropped, and that's another game that I like. I remember maybe like renting it once back in the day. But dude, I really, after playing like Sea of Thieves a bunch and like reading about Rare and like their past, I'm gonna dive into that and check that out. And then Majora's Mask is dropping soon, which means I gotta go play through Ocarina of Time so that I can play that. Because that was one that I remember renting as a kid, and that was one of those games that had like a time limit, you know?
Yeah.
And like that's just like, that's not a big deal once you get the Song of Time or whatever. But I was like, little kid me, stupid as hell, I fucking tried playing that, and I would just like never figure anything out, hit the time limit, restart. So it'll be fun to come back to that as someone who's not a moron and maybe enjoy it.
Who's not 8 years old.
Yeah, exactly.
Or however old when you did it. Yeah. What about you, Tim? Play anything fun?
My week was very boy.
Oh,
my whole
yeah. I forgot about that.
I picked up God of War. I played God of War, and that's pretty much the only game I played this week.
This is
it's
God
good.
of War
It's
2018
really good.
on the PC.
God
right?
of War 2018. Yep, I played it for PC, and it was fucking. It was so. I have mixed thoughts on it because like I loved it. It was really good. I really loved the story. I hated that like they build this big open world and fill it with stuff for you to do, but the game, most open world games, they do that and they're like, you can go do the story whenever the fuck you want. God of War actually does a better job of driving you through the story than other open world games. Like, it does encourage you at times to do other stuff, but then you go and do it and you get your ass kicked because it's kind of soft level gated because the leveling system's weird, the power level system or whatever. But like, but you'll have Atreus say something like, I wonder what's over there, or can we dock over here, and stuff like that every once in a while. So it kind of encourages you to explore, but I think it really wants you to do it after the campaign. But then I finished the campaign, and I honestly thought it was all building up to more than it was. I thought there was going to be more to it than it ends with. So there's plenty of people who didn't have a PlayStation that haven't played it that might pick it up on PC. So I'm going to avoid spoilers, I guess, for a 3-year-old game, 4-year-old game almost.
If you want.
But whatever. But like I thought there was going to be more, and it definitely leaves on a cliffhanger, setting you up for Ragnarok. I understand why they did that, but with a game this structure, I was like, man, that didn't feel very satisfying. The ending was like, I don't know how to feel about that. It was a beautiful moment. The game was really cool. The story's awesome. I love the relationship between Atreus and Kratos and the way that they kind of explored that and all this shit. Like, that was really cool. But I did not feel the ending was a satisfactory ending to a game. So I was like,
Tim, did you play the original games, the old God of War games?
I played the first two on PlayStation 2. At least I think the first two, at least the first one. I think God of War 2 was a PlayStation 2 game as well, wasn't it?
Correct.
Yeah. So I played the first two. I did not play God of War 3 because I did not have a PS3.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't play 3, and I didn't have a PS4. So until now, I hadn't played God of War 2018. And I've never had like a PlayStation Portable. So all the other weird side games that build up the lore, haven't played any of those. I've only played God of War 1, God of War 2, and then God of War 2018.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people say that the God of War 2018 feels like a much more mature story, whereas the previous games felt more juvenile.
Yeah, so for those who, I would say, yeah, I agree. Like, the first two God of War games are very generic revenge story, very typical video game thing. Like, they were good games, but over time, I would say they're not anything. At the time, they were special, but like compared to a lot of games that have come out since, they're all right. God of War 2018, I thought the combat system was okay. I was more interested in the story and the world building that they did there. Like, that was really cool to me.
It seemed like a more narrative style.
Yeah, and it was very much a more, I would say, yeah, it's a more mature game. It's a more mature Kratos, because old Kratos was just all rage and fire and anger and kill everything. And Christopher Judge did a great job of bringing out Kratos. I did not know. I knew Christopher Judge was the voice actor for Kratos. What I didn't know is, what the hell was his name in Stargate SG-1? He was in Stargate SG-1 as like my favorite fucking character. Yeah.
No way.
He was
This is like a left turn.
yeah, well, like, I'm probably in the minority that really loved Stargate SG-1. He played, what was his name? Teal'c. He was Teal'c in SG-1. That's the same guy. I didn't know Kratos was Teal'c. Like, I was like, oh, okay.
Dude,
that kind of blew my fucking mind. Yeah, like, I usually, if I hear a voice that I'm familiar with, it clicks right away, and I'll look at Sarah if we're watching a movie. I'll be like, oh, that's, blah, blah, blah. Yep. But, like, I never made that connection with Kratos and Teal'c. I was like, okay. So that was kind of cool. But yeah, I would say I agree. The narrative is more mature, and it's better.
Nice.
Yeah.
I have a question. Did you have anything to follow up with that? Because this has nothing to do with God of War.
No.
Okay, Justin, what the fuck is that over your right shoulder?
Hold on, I gotta...
Oh, yeah, it has a creepy little smile.
Let me show you. This is a stupid thing that I own.
I was like, I'm sitting here listening to Tim, and I like glanced over. And then I went, what is that? And then I'm like, I'm getting close to my
It's a little, like, coconut piggy bank.
Oh, it's thing. Wilson.
You put coins in here.
Oh.
Yeah. Did you make that?
No, I can't remember where this came from. I think
Did Coco make that? Because that looks like something Coco would do.
No, he didn't. I think we got this from a rummage sale at some point, me and my mom.
Oh, okay.
And then she just gave it to me when she was getting rid of junk. So now
Cody's just gotten used to there being skulls.
Thing.
But that was disturbing.
Yeah. Well, no, I didn't know if Justin was like doing this thing where it's like every other week he's just gonna
Oh.
slowly add more things
No.
into his
Yeah.
background.
he just changes it to see what we notice and what we don't.
Yeah, no,
I
we have a friend staying at the house right now,
Mhm.
and they're staying in a room where the windows don't have like drapes on them, so my screen is like in use upstairs right now. So
makes
normally I
sense.
have that hiding all my whatever crap.
I
so
thought you were
so
just
that
playing-
thing was always there.
It's been there for a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Never
I don't
noticed.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like I said, I was just listening to Tim and I saw that and I was like, what the hell?
From the chat, did you put it there or did it get there on its own? I definitely
It
put it
does
there. If you see it suddenly appear in that corner again, let me know. That's going to be a cause for concern.
I mean, I'm already a little. I didn't notice it, and then Cody pointed it out, and now it's going to haunt my dreams.
Dude.
Just so we're
Yeah.
clear.
That's going to become a
it is
facet
slightly
of the
creepy.
show. We're just going to
Yeah.
have things hidden in the backgrounds, like those series on Netflix, is it? Like Bly Manor. I don't know if you guys have
start
watched
doing that.
those.
I don't
No.
watch enough Netflix. Seeing as I have a chronic problem of starting things and not finishing them as well. You know, if I
could have
can't,
sworn with like all
I
these
still haven't
fucking
finished
games,
Arcane. Just saying.
Cody.
Why
not?
I absolutely
all
love,
these
I
things
love
that
that
I
show.
have to watch,
I love
or
that
I
show,
have
and I
to
didn't
play.
finish it.
Comes down with COVID, has to sit in this one room, doesn't even finish Arcane.
No,
I'm almost wondering with how much he's talked about Ghost of Tsushima if he ever actually finished it.
no,
'cause
I
if
did finish Ghost of Tsushima. Actually, I was gonna make the comment because you want to know what game doesn't have a meh ending. It's fucking Ghost of Tsushima because Ghost of Tsushima lands on its feet
Kick
and
ass.
does the whole why and then all the judges
Beautiful
went
ending.
10.
Oh my
I
God.
don't want to
Yeah.
make it sound like I think God of War has a bad ending or like doesn't land the ending. They landed the ending they were going for.
Right.
I wish it had been more conclusive. They were definitely setting up Ragnarok. Like
Sure.
Right.
there's no question everything was to set up Ragnarok. And that's
Right.
all intentional. They nailed what they were going for. I just wish there had been a little more meat to the ending, but it was really good still. Like I
Right.
enjoyed the hell out of it. It's still
Right.
probably the best game I've played in the last year. So
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense. You hate the ending. We get it. We're going to roast you for it for the rest of your life.
Oh man. All right. Well, I've been playing my VR headset a lot this past week. Twofold here, not just video games. I'm starting to use it as a legit like workout tool. I tried that, so I kept seeing those commercials, like ads and all that other nonsense for Supernatural, which is like, think of like not Beachbody, but like P90X and like those kind of things or whatever. It's it's like an instructor driven exercises or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But mixed with like Beat Saber or boxing type thing. And it's all to music, right? So like they have different modes. They have one that's literally Beat Saber, right? Where you're doing all this and you're dodging these triangles or whatever, right? And then they have a boxing one. And then they have like a meditation thing and whatnot or whatever. Super expensive for the annual is $179. But
It's like
otherwise
a subscription model.
Yeah, otherwise it's $20 a month, right? So I was like, I'll just pay the fucking annual. Like, because if you do the annual plan, you get 2 weeks free, right? To like test it out. And
Okay.
really I've done it enough. I just do the low intensity workouts and I'm absolutely dying because I'm fat as fuck right now. I tried the high intensity. If you can do a high intensity boxing workout in that thing, your hands are gonna be fast as fuck. I'm just saying. Like, it is wild how fast that shit actually is. But it's just cool. I've been using it for that, and then I found a football game on there, and I found that the other day, and I played it for like an hour, right? And you play as the quarterback, and you actually like legit have to throw the fucking ball. My arm hurts a lot. like
I wasn't sure where that was going.
Yeah, I do have one problem with that game though. And this is more of a problem with the Oculus controllers in general. Let me grab it real quick.
Show us.
Yeah, is this the right hand? No, it's the left. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter for whatever one. So, but when you're throwing, right, you hike the ball with this, and you hold on to this trigger, right? And then when you're ready to throw, you let it go, right? You know,
Mhm.
and you're doing the actual like throwing motion, right? Two things happen,
So
right?
weird.
I'm just like throwing it with the show. Anyways, two things tends to happen, right? You're gripping it hard, and so you. Oh shit! I just caught my whole mic. Sorry. But anyways, you're gripping it, and you go to throw it, and sometimes the battery cover slides.
No.
Not
Dude, a
good.
hook in the controller
Oh, no.
everywhere. I get it.
You
Yeah.
got a
Yeah.
Wiimote situation.
You know, there's
Yeah.
that thing there. It's a strap for your wrist.
I wear this strap. That's why I haven't actually yeeted this somewhere. The other thing that happens is because when you hold a ball, right, you use your thumb.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is right here. I can't really show this on the camera very well. There's a button. That's a menu button. So my thumb will hit it as I'm trying to throw it. Won't throw the ball. Game keeps going. A ball hits the ground, so I lose it down, and the menu comes up like resume or quit or whatever. So minor things that kind of infuriate me about it.
That's where the
other
Valve
than
Index
that,
really shows its moves,
Yes.
man. Those where
Yeah,
they strap to your hand.
So you can actually, there's a way to finagle this because you can take this out,
Mhm.
the strap, and I've seen tutorials on how to basically turn it into something similar.
Yeah.
So I might have to do that.
Sounds
But,
like something Tim would do.
Yeah, I'm starting to get more and more into the VR stuff. As I'm like experiencing more things, I still haven't bought a single game that has to do with guns. So I haven't done that yet.
Oh.
So everything, I got Blade and Sorcery, I got the football thing, I play the
I
Supernatural.
thought for sure
deal.
he would have played Pavlov already, but
No. I also got a game that is, you guys remember like the old like Super Nintendo beat 'em up, like the side
scrolling,
view,
yeah.
like beat 'em up. Yeah, I got one of those.
In
But
VR?
it's FPS. Yeah, like it's all VR. And it's very. Now I will say I played that for like 20 minutes and it made me like feel sick. So, and that's one of the few games that's done that. But because of this, because I've been having so much fun with this lately, I pre-ordered Zenith. And for those of you who don't know, Zenith is kind of the first like VR MMO, like dedicated VR MMO.
Yeah, one that's got some guts to it.
Yeah, and I don't know, dude. I'm excited. Like, I'm really excited to test this out because it's not like, you know, it doesn't break the bank. It's $30. I mean, it's $26 right now because technically it's a pre-order and it's, you know, promotional deal and stuff. But yeah, Zenith, man, it just looks cool.
Yeah, it looks really neat. It's got those like Zelda climbing mechanics.
Yeah,
I saw a little bit of like the crafting.
Yeah, and they got like legit like cooking or whatever. Like you're over here like flipping pancakes or some shit or whatever.
I saw that, yeah.
Yeah, like
food's like on fire. Like, oh shit.
Yeah. So I'm excited. Zenith looks like a good step in the right direction because my biggest issue so far has been I don't like, I love Blade and Sorcery, but it's still basically like a tech demo mostly. Because it doesn't have, like, it has the dungeons, right? But it doesn't have like real story substance and stuff to it.
Yeah.
Still a ton of fun to play. I mean, I'm over here bitch slapping people in the stands with a bowl or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it's just still a lot of fun. But yeah,
that's definitely like the biggest issue with most VR games is like there's not a lot of depth.
Yeah, well, I honestly, I think there's plenty of games out there that have depth. I just haven't seen them. One that's on like my wish list or whatever for Oculus is a Journey of the Gods, and it's like an old, it's like a Greek story, right, kind of thing, and it reminds me of what is it? What was it? Immortal Phoenix Rising or something like that. That came out last year.
That one that was kind of like Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, a little bit, but like it's not a Breath of the Wild, but it's got that same like vibe of like Greek mythology and stuff like that or whatever. So I think it's just more about finding the right games right now. The more I dig into it, kind of thing.
So what you're telling us is you're gonna pick up Skyrim VR.
No, so I'm actually avoiding that. Only because due to the way where I play, I hold on a sec. Hold on, my throat is like ugh. Hold on.
Dying. Everyone drink some water. Stay hydrated.
All right. I feel better now. I went ahead and muted myself for that. As he cracks a monster.
You were
This
saying,
motherfucker.
I didn't just crack a second monster for the stream. I don't know.
God.
But yeah, I avoided Skyrim because I would want to mod it, and
I know
the way I am the way I'm set up right now is like I play everything downloaded to the headset because I play downstairs and the Wi-Fi connection going from my office where all my other shit is down there isn't the greatest kind of thing. So I found that out with Blade and Sorcery. Like I tested it out a lot with Steam VR and whatnot. So I basically just get anything. I'd basically just kind of go through the store that's actually on the headset for now. So I've been debating on buying another Wi-Fi router. That's
you don't
probably
need to get
better.
Another router. You could just get an extender.
I did think about that too, but honestly, I'm kind of curious if some of my internet connectivity issues is because of the router I have. Because I don't know who had it before I did, because I use like my ISP's router or whatever
combo. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So
I was like,
yeah,
I thought it was fine at your last place, and then that makes sense because
it was fine at my last place. It's the same one.
I haven't used a like modem or router from my ISP in 10 years.
Yeah.
Literally 10 years, because I figured out a long time ago that like, oh, this is why my internet is shit.
Yeah,
because they give me bad equipment.
And on top of that, they used to charge you a rental fee. Fuck that.
Yeah.
I was like, I would much rather pay $200 for a decent router now than pay $200 over the next year for a shitty router.
Yeah. So it's just something I've been exploring. Probably after I sell my condo, that might be a little thing that I get for myself.
There you go.
Because I'll have some extra cash. So, but we've talked for almost a half hour about shit we've been playing. We haven't talked about the biggest thing that happened this week. That made me almost shit my. I mean,
it's pretty big.
The decade's 2 years old. For gaming.
For gaming.
For things that are relevant to the podcast.
Yes.
It's not a
almost shit myself at work type of news, because you don't expect to be scrolling through Facebook and click on a link and Microsoft is announcing that they bought fucking Activision Blizzard. Like,
just snapped them up.
Like, what the out of left field?
Nobody
saw this coming.
Yeah. That was very surprising to just suddenly see. Like, I feel like there wasn't really any speculation on that, and then all of a sudden, boom.
It was like all of a sudden Call of Duty is exclusive to Xbox. What? Like what? What's happening? Like, what is going on? I remember I called Tim. And it was funny. Tim was very busy. So I went, "Hey Tim, Microsoft just bought Activision." He went, "Oh, good." And then he's like,
is that what he said?
Yeah, you weren't even like really surprised or anything. You were like, "Hey," you're like, "I think that's good for the company." And then you were like, "Hey, but I'm like busy. I gotta go do this." And then you called me later and you're like, "Call of Duty is gonna be an Xbox exclusive." And I was like, "Yes, like this is what I was trying to say."
I honestly I don't remember that initial conversation at all, because it's been a very busy week at work. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, no, I feel.
But
hold it against you. I was
on the one hand, yeah, it's probably good for Activision Blizzard to not be owned by their previous ownership and have a different leadership group coming in. But also Call of Duty, Overwatch, StarCraft, if they ever make another. Well, I have seen that actually Phil Spencer was in meetings this week after they announced it, was actually very excited about the possibility of potentially having IPs that have been dormant or basically rotting get readdressed. So maybe StarCraft is actually gonna get a third.
He name dropped Hexen. He name dropped Hexen, dude. Oh my god.
But we're ignoring the biggest thing out of the entire acquisition, though. Candy Crush is now an Xbox exclusive.
Awesome. Candy Crush. I loved having that pre-install on Windows 10. That was my favorite thing ever. Loved that.
Yeah. So now it's not bloatware, it's just first party game.
Now it's just a first party game, just like Solitaire. I mean, for fuck's sake.
That's funny.
But no,
that's
seriously,
really what it is.
like I make fun of we make fun of it because Candy Crush is like the casual thing, but that's huge for Microsoft to actually own Candy Crush. That is, yeah, Call of Duty sells like hotcakes every fucking year. That's going to be huge, and whether that becomes console exclusive or not, that's going to be a big thing for Microsoft in terms of like Game Pass subscriptions. And I actually have a theory on that later that we can get into a little bit. But like Candy Crush is the real moneymaker that Activision had. That like no matter what they did, no matter how bad they fucked up Call of Duty, they had Candy Crush. They were making money hand over fist.
Yeah.
So like everybody's grandma plays Candy Crush. So if they ever actually do put it on Xbox, that's how you get casuals to buy an Xbox.
That's true. That's true. So I don't think we said how much they bought it for. It was $68.7 billion.
So
We have to
close.
round this.
So
we have to
close.
round this.
Yeah.
It's nice.
So,
Rounded up to 69.
yeah.
Nice.
I mean 69.
Nice.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. Yeah, man. I was telling you guys before the podcast started. When I've told people this week, I keep jacking it up, the number, because it's so astronomically ginormous. I keep saying 6.87 billion. Just because 68, almost $69 billion is just such a crazy number.
It's nuts, dude.
And it's straight cash, homie. Like I can't even. I don't even know what to say. Like,
oh my god,
crazy. Like I don't know.
It's almost. It's not quite, but it's almost 15 times what. To put it in perspective, it's almost 15 times what Disney paid for Star Wars.
Yeah. I think I put.
Wow.
I shared somebody. I think it's the GDP of a country. Like
Oh my god. Some countries.
It's gonna be more than the GDP of a lot of countries. Like more than.
Yeah. Hold on. Somebody tweeted it. It was hilarious. I shared it. Where the fuck? Annual GDP of Luxembourg.
Oh man.
That's like right. annual GDP, not even like I don't know. It's such a crazy number, dude.
I think this is going to have a huge impact on the gaming industry moving forward, but like not as big of an impact on Xbox specifically as people might think, because you might get some of those franchises to be Xbox exclusive in terms of console, but there's never been a StarCraft on console. There's never been a Warcraft on console.
There's StarCraft on N64.
Was there? I do not remember StarCraft on N64. Yeah. Okay. I'm mistaken there, apparently.
Nintendo.
But my point is that's those are like most of the Blizzard franchises, other than like Diablo and Overwatch, are, you know, PC exclusive right now anyway. So like it's possible you could see ports for future games like the next Warcraft because they could make another Warcraft now that's not World of Warcraft.
So just real quick on that, I've been putting this out on our Twitter a little bit. I think you're going to see World of Warcraft ported to console.
I think you're going to see it put on PC Game Pass.
I think it'll go on PC Game Pass for sure, but I think because it's been basically exhausted on PC and it's lost that crown that it had for the past 20 years or however fucking long it was as the greatest MMO on PC. The easiest thing that they could do to continue that game's life is you just port it to Xbox. And it takes all that weight of its legacy, right? And it goes to console. There's a whole fucking millions of people that have never been able to experience it because it was always on PC. That is the easiest port I could see happening out of all this.
I think they could definitely do that. And if they didn't have a subscription, if the subscription for the game was included in Game Pass, I think that could be big.
Yeah.
I think it would be like the subscriptions included, but you still have to buy any expansions. Yeah, because that's how they've handled DLC for Game Pass games so far. I don't think there are any there's not many, if any, Game Pass games that you get the DLC for free as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know, but I think the big question is like, how will this affect Sony moving forward? It
Right.
already hit like a 20% drop to their stock price.
7% drop, $20 billion.
Oh, was it 7%? Okay.
7% drop in the stock, but $20 billion is a 7% drop. Just throwing that out.
Yeah, they have a lot of shares out there, man.
Yeah. So,
it's a lot of money.
I do have, because I have opinions on this, and I also tweeted this out. So I'm curious, do you guys think this overall, and obviously this isn't black and white, but overall, good or bad move for the gaming industry as a whole?
For the industry as a whole.
Let's start with Justin, because me and Tim have been talking a lot about it so far.
I guess I would say overall good, because what Microsoft is doing in the gaming space is kind of the best of anybody else. Like, the things they're doing with Game Pass, it is really good. The way they're letting studios basically be independent under their umbrella as first-party studios, also really good. Yeah, I don't see a lot of bad here.
Short term or long term?
Well, I
short term good. Long term, I do think consolidation of any market by large corporations is historically has not typically been a good thing.
Right.
You do wind up with less options moving forward. There's less new. Microsoft is already such a big company that has such a far reach that it could very easily, like, say Phil Spencer was not the head of Microsoft, and their next CEO is or head of Microsoft Gaming is his new official title. Let's say that their next head of Microsoft Gaming is more of a Bobby Kotick type.
Don't even
now
say it.
It's a very, but like that's the power that position's gonna have, right? Like, so short term, while Phil Spencer is there, it's very good for gaming. Especially while Microsoft is still, even though they've made all these big moves, they are still trying to catch up with other competitors like Sony, right? Like, they are doing this to be competitive, to build a brand that's going to beat out PlayStation long term. So right now, it's really good for a lot of people, especially if you have a Game Pass subscription. And if you don't, I don't know what the hell you're doing. You're one of not 25 million, because that hit 25 million as well recently.
Yeah, I've been hearing more and more people talk about Game Pass fairly recently as well.
Yeah. But like, I don't know, dude. Like, it's long term, it worries me.
So, do you think this is still good for the industry if you are solely just a Sony PlayStation owner? Like, you don't own a Switch or an Xbox or a PC, you just have a PlayStation.
It's gonna be, because they're gonna have to make a fucking competitor to Game Pass.
That depends on Sony. Okay, so they already are working on Project Spartacus, which is gonna be kind of cool. That is their Game Pass competitor. Microsoft has already come out and said they want to continue to release Call of Duty on PlayStation. They don't have to, right? Like, they now own Call of Duty. If it's not it is absolutely one of the largest video game franchises, period.
Just to put in perspective, Call of Duty was the best-selling game and the third best-selling game in this past year for PlayStation.
And that game was total shit. Vanguard is terrible, and it was still one of the top 3 games. Like, I'm not
Vanguard
saying
was still number 1. There was another Call of Duty title, which I don't remember which one it was, that was number 3. I'm assuming it's Warzone, even though it's free.
Yeah.
So I'd have to relook at that. But yeah,
the fact that that's all now under the Microsoft umbrella, that should be concerning for Sony specifically. Microsoft said that they're going to honor any existing contracts, so they're not going to pull those games from Sony, right? But I actually think it gives Microsoft leverage because they have wanted to put Game Pass on PlayStation and to put it on Nintendo for a very long time. They have actually been trying to get other companies to let them put Game Pass on there.
Right.
And obviously, Sony's had no reason to do so.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't want to play ball when they wanted to do crossplay. You didn't want to play ball when they wanted to put Game Pass on PlayStation. So now what do you do when 2 of your top 3 best-selling games from the past year are owned by your direct competitor who says, "Hey, I want to put my service on your console." Do you still not play ball? I think then maybe you don't see Call of Duties on PlayStation 5 after their contractual obligations are up. Maybe you don't see Overwatch 2 on PlayStation 5.
Right.
But I don't know.
If you only own a PlayStation, now's a great time to think about PC.
It's always a great time
And
to think
or
about
a
PC.
Series S. Just saying.
Steam Deck's coming out on time, so I'm just saying.
I will say this. I actually have a lot of thoughts about this. I think that overall this is good for Microsoft and Sony. The big reason I think this is good for Sony is now Sony can no longer rely on Call of Duty to fill the shooter hole for their console. So Sony's going to do what they do best, and that is they are going to create a epic fucking game. They create
Killzone's
a lot.
coming back. Got it.
Killzone, but I could
I'd
see
be
them
cool with
coming
that.
out with an entirely new IP, right? Specifically to fill this hole now in their catalog, because they cannot rely. Phil Spencer came out and said we're continuing. We want to continue to have Call of Duty on PlayStation, right? Phil Spencer still doesn't own Activision for a year, so he's not going to say anything that's going to has a chance of harming the acquisition, right? Which I don't know if that would, but he's not gonna he can't come out and say, yeah, Bobby Kotick's gonna get the fuck out of here as soon as we own
that
Activision.
piece of shit.
Yeah, like he can't say that, right? So I do think this is good for Sony. They can no longer rely on Call of Duty, right? It also, on the flip side of this, for Microsoft's perspective, I think you could make the argument that people were you saw it this year, even though it was a top seller on PlayStation and stuff like that, people were starting to get franchise fatigue with Call of Duty, right? The way forward for Activision was not clear, right? You weren't going to be able to continue to rely on Call of Duty to be a bestseller because people were starting to get sick of it. They had kind of like a second win when that Modern Warfare came out a couple years ago, but
Warzone?
No, Modern Warfare.
I know, but
there was a Modern Warfare that came out 2 years ago. I actually played through the campaign. It was good.
I know, but I feel like Warzone kind of also.
Well, that buoyed
I'm
it
agreeing
for
with
sure.
you,
Yeah. But yeah, Warzone continued that, right? But it's not. They can't. They're not going to be able to rely on that anymore. Because after the acquisition happens, 2024, Call of Duty is Xbox exclusive, 100%, right? But Activision wasn't going to be. I don't believe that Activision was going to be able to rely on Call of Duty the way they have been. So now that Activision is getting bought by Microsoft, they don't have to worry about revenue like they did before, right? So now Call of Duty is. I can almost 100% guarantee that Call of Duty is going to go away from annual releases, right? And you're gonna see the studios like Toys for Bob and whatnot, or Bob for Toys, or I don't know, the studio that made Crash Bandicoot, that made the latest Crash Bandicoot for one of the PS5 or right at the PS4 end of the PS4 life cycle here, beginning of the PS5, very well received. They can go.
Also came out on Xbox.
Did it come out? I don't know. And I always. And this is a whole different thing, but Spyro and Crash Bandicoot now being Microsoft first party IPs, when they've been like Sony's kind of like mascots, kind of, is a whole different. Anyways, but like Toys for Bob or whatever can go out and make a Banjo Kazooie game, right? They can go out and do that. You don't have to have every studio under your umbrella basically supporting the Call of Duty machine. You know what I mean? Because that's what happened. Toys for Bob made the Crash Bandicoot game, and then they got sucked in the Call of Duty machine.
Then they were just a tertiary studio making assets for this game that they don't really have any control over.
Right. So now they got all these IPs that they can make. Like that Activision own that they can make games for. Justin, I think you made a really good list.
Oh yeah, I have like a list of the titles here, and I was just wondering if you guys wanted to talk about any of those. I know we were excited about Tenchu,
but I found out that actually they can only do like the old games because I guess FromSoft bought the rights for Tenchu. So they can't do a new game, unfortunately. They can just do like remasters of
So
the
given
older titles.
FromSoft's relationship with Sony,
Yeah.
you could have re-releases that are Xbox exclusive and a new Tenchu that's PlayStation exclusive.
You could.
That's not confusing at all. Also, honestly, Raven is now owned by Microsoft, which means and Raven has a long history before they were bought by Activision of working very closely with id. So I don't know that there are any devs left at Raven or id from those times, because that's mid 2000s. Like I think Raven worked on I want to say Quake 4, Quake 3, Quake 4. I'm pretty sure they did. Like that could be an interesting reunion.
Right.
Get them away from COD for a while.
I think
they're striking.
They are striking. We should talk about that. I do want to say this real quick though. I think Sony is doing the wrong move by trying to compete directly with Microsoft when it comes to Game Pass and that kind of stuff.
We've spent the last 3 years saying that they need to.
Right, but now that the way the landscape is, right, Sony can't win an acquisition war with Microsoft. They just don't have the money to do it.
They can't afford to buy an EA or I saw somebody say they were going to buy Square Enix. I'm like, Square Enix is not selling off.
Well, they're not, but that's kind of besides the point. It doesn't really matter because at the end of the day, Microsoft can gobble up companies at a rate that Sony could never like. Microsoft basically just bought Sony's gaming division is the equivalent of buying Activision is really what it is. So they can't compete in that realm. I don't think they should be competing directly with Game Pass. Sony's whole draw is their single player experiences being as great as they are. I really think that Sony should be trying to push the VR market like they are with the VR2 headset that they're coming out with, and continuing to push that single player experience instead of trying to do the Game Pass route, which honestly is just a value for gamers. If the PlayStation became, I heard Greg Miller use this terminology because I was listening to him talk about the acquisition, the boutique of gaming, right? Where like you get a PS5 because it's expensive, but the experiences that it delivers and whatnot are just top notch. Like every single one, I can get behind that. While Game Pass would be like, if you're a kid, right, and you're just you're using your allowance, you get Game Pass, you get access to all these other games or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I think that would be a better model than trying to do what Microsoft is doing. You know what I mean? That's just my personal opinion. Because they're not going to win. They're not going to win that war. They're just not. Like, it doesn't really matter what they do.
Yeah, but I feel like for a gaming company that is already so. I get the idea, but I feel like that's a fast track to an extinct PlayStation model. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's already expensive enough to buy a console as it is. It's already expensive enough to buy $70 video games as it is. It's already expensive enough to buy these games and then buy the DLC for the rest of the story that you didn't get to play the first time around. Or like, I feel like at that point, you're no longer competing. If you're trying to be the boutique of gaming, you're no longer competing with Xbox. You're now competing with PC. You're not going to win that war either. Right. I mean, and also, by the way, you're still competing with Microsoft directly and Game Pass directly at that point. So, like, there's just not really I don't see a way forward for them there either. Like, that's...
I think the Spartacus is just going to be the wrong move. They're going to try and because since they're so reliant on the $70 sale at this point, right? I don't think they're relying on the actual game sales and the hardware sales, unlike Microsoft, which has moved away from it, right? Like, play our games on your fucking phone for all we get. You got a tablet, you got you know what I mean? Whatever, you know what I mean? Figure it out. You can play it wherever. That's where I think the problem is going to lie when it comes to them trying to do something like Spartacus. The only thing I can really, the only thing I think I see them doing with Spartacus is doing a backwards compatibility type deal, or it's just a backlog of old PlayStation games and stuff like that. But I
They're
mean
going the
that
Nintendo online subscription route. Is that what you're
I
saying?
I really think that's probably what the majority of Spartacus is going to be. It's going to be some games. They're going to have some games on there, like they do right now, like Days Gone and God of War 2018, and that this, that, and the other thing for your PlayStation Now subscription, or your not your PlayStation Now, but like your yearly subscription.
Yeah.
But that's getting replaced by Spartacus, and they're just going to add a little bit to it. It's probably going to be backwards compatibility stuff. It's not competing with Microsoft. Like it's just not. It's just not going to be as enticing.
I could see them putting not all of their. I think they'll do kind of like they do now with timed exclusivity, right? Like they'll put a game eventually on PC, but like it's a PlayStation exclusive for 2 years or whatever.
Right.
I could see them doing that with their thing. It's like, no, you can only buy it right now. Next year, 2 years from now, it'll be on Spartacus.
Yeah.
And then maybe they do kind of a similar thing to what Microsoft has done to kind of bolster their own roster. You make a deal with EA, you make a deal with UB, you make a deal with these other streaming or other platforms that have their own subscription model. Be like, hey, we want to add it to ours. We'll cut you in on a price, like on a percentage of this, blah 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 blah. I could see them doing that to bolster the roster, but yeah, I agree that it's still not going to be. It's not going to have as much as Game Pass because they just don't have the deep pockets.
Yeah,
well, and they don't have 32 first-party studios.
Like, yeah. I think the biggest thing to me that I think of is Play Anywhere with Game Pass. That's so big. Like, I don't think Sony would have the infrastructure to support something like that the way that Microsoft does.
I think Sony and Microsoft right now have a deal so Sony can use Microsoft's cloud servers. Yeah, because Sony doesn't have something like that. So like that's completely true. That's why like I just don't see like that's why I really think that Sony should just focus on what they're good at the most. I'm not saying they shouldn't expand it all and experiment and that this and the other thing, but a direct competitor with Game Pass when they flat out came out, I don't know what it was like a year and a half ago now, and they were like, yeah, that we don't see that as a sustainable model. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because even right now, I think you put the numbers in here.
Yeah.
Wall Street Journal reporting that the PlayStation Plus has 47 million subs, and Game Pass just got reported with this acquisition that they have 25 million.
Right.
But who the fuck talks about PlayStation Plus? Like,
yeah, it's kind of weird that they reported on that as like it's an equivalent because it's not the same thing.
That would be more like comparing Xbox Gold to
right.
Like that's it's not really the same thing.
It was cool to see the numbers though.
Yeah.
I wonder how many people have Gold but still don't have Game Pass. Like, first of all,
I'm sure there's a number of people who are just like ignorant of how Game Pass works.
I'm sure the number is in the millions, if not the tens of millions, right? Like,
I fucking hope not.
I hope not, but I would bet that it is. I think there's probably enough people that are like, I just want to own my game. Or like, people that maybe were able to get their hands on a Series X that are like, I just want physical only.
There are definitely those people out there still.
I don't know how many of them there are, but they're out there.
Yeah. I don't know. The whole thing's really interesting. The conversation going forward is going to be interesting. I will say, any conversation around monopolization is absolute horseshit. I mean, it's just because it's just not like they're not even the biggest earner in the gaming space, right? The key word is yet. Yeah, I would say I would also say if they hadn't acquired Activision, the other company or the other like big publisher I wish they would have acquired was EA. So we can get rid of the yearly sports releases. I would have loved to have gotten I would love to see that go away, and then move to a better model. Just because EA has the same fucking problem Activision does with Call of Duty.
Well, it's so funny because we've heard rumors about them trying to acquire other companies. They were supposedly trying to acquire UB. They were supposedly trying to acquire WB Games. I haven't heard EA mentioned at all.
No, because EA won't sell because they have their fucking
Dude.
little card game and their sports games that just makes
Yeah.
billions of dollars, and they put literal like roulette tables in their fucking
Yeah, but,
basketball
like,
games. And
before this week, though, you say EA won't sell, but before this week, would you have said, "Oh, Activision will sell"? Because, like, no, I wouldn't have seen that because they have World of Warcraft, they have Overwatch 2, and everybody's still talking about it even though it's not coming. They have COD, they have Candy Crush. Like, who would have thought?
I think the situations are different, obviously, because of the whole Bobby Kotick thing. I think that was the catalyst to make this even possible to begin with.
I agree. I think that was a major factor, even though they won't say that.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely a big part of it.
Because Bobby is just looking for a way out, is really what
mean,
it is. So
literally, I don't know if I talked about this. I know I talked about it before we started the stream, but I kind of deep dived this a little bit, and I made a joke the other day that I was like, I think I put it on my Twitter. I was like, Phil Spencer to the public, we're gonna reevaluate our situation or our relationship with Activision. And then Phil Spencer to Bobby Kotick, I own you now. But that's like literally how the fucking conversation went. Like he said that, and then they had a bunch of phone calls with Activision, and those phone calls resulted in, well, what if we do this? What if we buy you? Like,
yeah,
that's actually what happened.
I could see it. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. The whole thing's wild. Couple things. I'm gonna skip Ubisoft here because fuck them. Because Lego Star Wars looks fucking great. I'm not even the biggest Star Wars fan here.
So good.
I watched the fucking trailer for that last night.
Yeah, dude.
300 characters. 300. Like, I'm interested in buying this, and I don't even fucking watch Star Wars like that. Like, dude. Lego Star Wars. What is it? Lego Star Wars
Skywalker Saga.
Yeah, dude, looks great, awesome.
It covers all of the movies. It's got, like, watching that gameplay trailer, what I really liked about it is there's so many games that come out and the gameplay is kind of the same thing throughout the whole game, but in this one you see there's a lot of variety to what you're doing. Yeah. So you're running around, you're doing combat. Every character has like different weapons and different ways of fighting, and this has like the most in-depth combat system of any of these Lego Star Wars games. But you have flying sections, you have sections where you're like shooting womp rats, like a lot of mini game side activities. Yeah. And then the humor in these games is always just like top notch. I fucking love this humor. You saw there's like the mumble mode where it's all the dialogue just like so dumb but so funny.
Yeah. I was very excited watching this trailer. And like I said, I'm just like a very casual Star Wars like viewer kind of thing. So I fully expect Tim to have it, not because of Logan, but that'll probably help.
It's because of Logan. I don't.
No, you were gonna buy it. I promise.
No, I wasn't, because I promise I don't buy Lego games. Like, I like playing Lego games, but I don't really buy them. Like, we did buy Lego Jurassic Park, but that was because Logan wanted it, right? And we played it a little bit together, but I actually kind of hate it. Oh, he already does. he saw a trailer for it when I was just like on YouTube. He goes, "What's that?" I'm like, it's nothing. And I went to try and hit skip. He goes, "No, I want to watch this." I was like, oh, crap.
You're like, here we go. I'm about to spend some money.
That boy is on a Grogu kick. He has been wanting Baby Yoda stuff all over. Like, and we haven't even watched Mandalorian lately. We've been watching Boba Fett, not Mando. And he just like he's ready for a booster seat. So he wants a Baby Yoda booster seat. He got Baby Yoda slippers today. He has a Baby Yoda coloring book. He's just like, he's all about Grogu. And if I say Baby Yoda, by the way, he corrects me. He says, "No, Dad, it's Grogu."
Oh, wow. This
is not my fault. Also, I know it's not on the doc, but I just want to like throw out there the new Boba Fett episode.
Very good. Very good.
Very good.
Yeah, I'd say probably the strongest episode.
I'm glad to hear that it's continuing its ramp up of not being awful like the first episode.
This had the best mix of like self-aware humor and action mixed in, along with some just good storytelling overall. So like, yeah, you'll like Cody a lot.
Yeah.
Good to hear.
one thing that's helped me with that show is looking at it as this is Boba Fett reinventing himself after getting eaten by the fucking Sarlacc. So some of the things I was annoyed with, I'm giving a little more leeway and kind of looking at with a new perspective. So that's been helpful.
Just like Boba Fett is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, before we get away from it, I did want to mention on Lego Star Wars, we were talking about crunch in the past. That is one thing that I saw is with this all this cool shit about Lego Star Wars coming out. There have been reports of pretty bad crunch in the company that makes all the Lego games, and you know the Lego games are like a yearly title. So it was disheartening hearing people come forward and talk about the crunch culture of that workplace.
Well, I think you're gonna see crunch to continue going away after Raven fully unionizes, because that's where this is heading.
Yes, dude.
That was the other kind of, we didn't really talk about it, but that was kind of the other part of about the acquisition that obviously Microsoft in general can't even really talk about yet, right?
Yeah.
I think when Phil Spencer was asked about, like, Raven looking to form a union and this and the other thing, he just said something to the effect of, "We want to do what's best to help our developers create good games." So, and honestly, the way Phil Spencer has handled things and stuff, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think he's gonna urge them to unionize, but I don't think he's gonna do anything to get in the way of it either.
He would be dumb to
try and stop
get in the way of it, but he
Yeah.
would also be dumb to urge them to do it, because
Right. Because unions that generally aren't good for companies, right?
They're generally not good for companies. They are
Yeah.
generally very good for the workers, which is why they are
Yes.
not generally very good for the companies, because
Right.
it does always affect the bottom line. But like
Mhm.
that, I think that could be, especially at Activision Blizzard, there could use to be a little bottom line affecting right now, which is why they were able to be bought.
Correct.
Yeah.
So,
Really cool to see these Raven QA people still strike. They've been striking since December, I believe.
it's been a while.
Yeah, and now they're officially in the process of forming their union, seeking recognition. Very excited for them. They've got a lot of love on Twitter. They've got a Twitter for their group. Wonderful to see. Freaking great.
I hate, so I think I've talked about Ravensoft on the
Probably.
podcast quite a few times, because they've made some of my favorite games of all time. They have long been one of my favorite studios, and like the fact that after, I think it was after Enemy Territory and the whole they were acquired by Blizzard, and they basically have become relegated to a Call of Duty assist studio, including a lot of QA testing. So like it for multiple reasons just makes, again, me just, it reminds me why I like Raven so much. They're awesome.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, absolutely.
Very excited for them. Things we're not excited about, though, or haven't been for a little while now, is Halo Infinite and the state of its multiplayer. So, two things, right? I know Justin's big thing. It's so big that he went and left a negative review on Steam, like a hooligan.
damn.
Uncalled for. No, I mean, big team battle's still broken. But what's not on here is I've seen nothing but good things about their new Attrition game mode. Just throwing that out there. I don't really know what it is. There's a circle that closes in. I do know that. It's on a normal multiplayer map. Oh, you know? Okay.
Yeah. So Attrition is basically your 4v4 team slayer. The twist is that you have a limited number of lives on each team. I forget how many, 15 or 20 or something. But every time you die, you lose a ticket, you respawn. But once you're out of tickets, instead of respawning, you are dead. But you have a little marker where you died, and your team can come in and hold a button to revive you. So it's a lot like in Destiny, they had the Trials of Osiris. There was a game mode that played basically the same way. So like I've been saying, Halo Infinite is just Destiny in a lot of ways. But this is a good way to copy them, because I do like this game mode. I played it a few times, and it's pretty enjoyable, other than technical difficulties that I've had.
Right.
I haven't played it yet, but I haven't played Halo in a couple of weeks. And I don't know why I stopped. Like I was enjoying it, and then I just like moved on to other things. But like interesting.
Yeah, I have definitely not played much. I jumped on for this new event because they have their like event rewards or whatever, and you get a really cool pink AR skin. So I was like, that's level 2. I gotta do 2 fucking challenges. Easy. Went in and did those. Played a few matches.
I'm not undoing my entirely red team. Okay,
you're set. You're locked in, dude. I can respect that. Yeah, big team being broken is the most annoying thing because like me and like 4 other guys have jumped on and played big team before and had a lot of fun. And then we started having the issue where it would not connect. And then as soon as it fails to connect, your game starts doing weird menu loops and crash, all kinds of stupid issues. And it sucks because big team is the mode that I enjoy most. And it's the one that I can't play.
So I will say that I think that's part of the reason why I haven't been playing a whole lot. One, I haven't had a whole lot of time lately. Trying to get deployers out the door, and when shit's not, it's been just stupid wild. But I think that we would all play together more if big team worked because you can get 8 people together. You know what I mean? Like, and we got the Duluth channel or whatever on Discord or whatever.
Yeah.
I could easily see us getting anywhere from 4 to 8 people together and just jumping into big team and fucking shit up.
Absolutely,
or getting fucked up.
Dude.
One of the two. You know what I mean?
As long as you're doing it together, man, it's a good time.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, that's one of the downsides to the whole thing. But I mean, once again, I still have problems being mad at them just because it's all Game Pass free, basically. You know what I mean? Like it's
a free to play game.
Yeah, I'm just like I'll take the hiccups because there's still enjoyability to be had there. Like I can still jump in and play team deathmatch by myself and have a good time,
or SWAT,
or jump in and get totally owned in SWAT because apparently all my SWAT skills from Master Chief Collection did not transfer to Halo Infinite, and I am awful. So I mean, there's still plenty of fun to be had. You know, even after doing the campaign and stuff.
I would play it more if, and this is happening, so this is good, if they were tweaking the progression system for the season pass, and it sounds like it's not happening immediately. They're looking at doing it for season 2, and I don't even know when season 2 starts.
May.
Okay, but for season 2, you're going to actually be able to earn credits, and they're looking at kind of breaking up the way that they do the bundles and all that. So it won't feel so fucking slow, and like you have to pay for everything.
They did start breaking up the bundles the other day.
No, they changed the pricing. I don't think they've broken up. That's coming like next week, I want to say. They just tweeted about it today a little bit, about the season 2 changes, being able to earn credits. That's going to be good. That's pretty standard across the industry as far as battle passes go. And being able to buy the individual items. Like, I'm not going to buy a $20 bundle for like 15 stickers and an armor helmet that I can't even wear because I don't have the core for. But if I can buy those ears, the cat ears for like $3, I'm down.
Cat ears.
I didn't notice until now. I love the counter.
Oh my god, he just saw it.
By the way,
I just saw it.
34 days until Elden Ring, dude.
Bro.
My god.
So
I actually I haven't yet, but I probably will pre-order. I know that we were talking about not doing it, but I'm probably gonna pre-order.
So I might pre-order the day before so I can preload it. That's
what I'm thinking. Yeah.
The funny thing about that, the way Justin said that, he was like, Tim. Just like,
and then he's like, I'm gonna do it too.
Like, why would you do it?
I'm not talking about doing it now. I'm talking about doing it like a day or two in advance, so I can preload.
I don't think there's a difference. If you pre-order, you pre-order. I don't know. Either way, I'm not.
I think there's a difference. I would argue that if you pre-order a game a year before it comes out, and so do like stupid. A million other people.
Call me out like that with
It's different.
To play the beta, sir.
It's different for the company the way that they receive that.
I think it's also different if there's beta access. It's not like we were pre-ordering and getting beta access with Elden Ring. So Cody, I wouldn't feel as bad for that one because
No, it's just funny because that's exactly what I did with New World.
Ben in chat, 7 days until Pokemon. That's right. I'm gonna pick that up. See how it is.
Yeah, so I'm actually, this is the funny thing. I'm the one who's on the fence about it. And honestly, it's because I brought Brilliant Diamond and or Shining Pearl. I forget which one.
Yeah,
I think
whichever.
I bought the one that's pink on the front. I think it's Shining
That's Pearl. Yeah,
Must be.
diamond's
So
blue on the front.
um
White.
and
bluish
I
white.
just haven't played it a lot. And I think part of the reason for me is just that it's too easy. Like it's just there is literally zero challenge. Like if you've played Let's Go, I think we talked about this a little bit, but if you've played Let's Go Pikachu or Eevee and or Sword and Shield on there, you can find some these two people like after the first town where you can get fucking Mew and Jirachi,
Yeah.
which are former legendaries and stuff from other generations.
Yeah,
And
even
I
without
just go
that,
through and hit confusion. Like, well, even without that, it's not.
the mainline games have just, I don't know if they've always been easy and I just wasn't good at the games before, but it feels like they need a difficulty mode now. Like people talk about how Dark Souls could have an easy mode. I think Pokemon could have a hard mode.
They need to embrace
Yeah,
the
could have a
Nuzlocke.
permadeath mode.
They need to embrace the Nuzlocke culture because it is very rampant. Like it is not rampant, but it's just very prevalent in Pokemon culture of people who play these games.
Yeah,
And
people make their own game modes, like the Nuzlocke
Right.
Challenge, randomizers. If they actually coded that into the game as just a mode you could play, I think that would be amazing. That'd be a huge, like, community thing. That would be like, hey, we see you out there. We see how you play these games. We respect you enough that we're going to put this in the game.
You know who does do that? And this is honestly like probably my favorite. Like as much as I enjoy Pokemon, it's probably my favorite like monster catcher is fucking Nexomon. They have a Nuzlocke mode.
Ooh, buddy.
They have a randomizer mode as part of the game. It wasn't there on release. It came out later, right? So like if I went back to it now, I could play through the game like that. And it's just like the fact that they have that and it's a fucking like $40 game, you know what I mean? And it's nowhere near as big. Like if you want to scratch that itch and still have a challenge and stuff like that, Nexomon is there for you. It's specifically the second one. The first one's still fun too, because it has a bunch of end game content. So
I don't know why this rang this bell in my head, but like I think it was a week ago, 2 weeks ago, I for the first time in a long time actually fired up Skyrim's Special Edition.
Mhm.
I don't know when they put it in, but it has a survival mode now.
Oh, dope.
yeah, it's been
It has a
there for a
hardcore
while.
mode.
Yeah,
It's been a very long time since I played Special Edition because like I was not expecting that, and I was also very happy to see that because I was like, it's needed that for years.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
the
it had the
first
mod,
mod I looked for when the game was out, because that's my favorite way to play those Bethesda games, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you're missing out if you don't play like New Vegas or Fallout 4 on survival mode. Like you just are.
It's a trip.
And like the fact that they finally put it into Skyrim, and I don't know when. Cody said it's been on there for a long time. Like I said, I haven't. I
say
played
that
modded to fuck vanilla Skyrim for years and didn't touch Special Edition for a few years now.
Yeah. It might have showed up in there honestly when the Anniversary Edition came out. It might have just been part of a free update. So I could be
Yeah, I
wrong.
think it is part of the Anniversary Edition.
Oh,
No,
Ben did say that.
But I fired it up not on Anniversary. I fired it up in Special Edition. So like, it's a, I swear to God, unless I'm crazy, like because it was on my computer. I don't have Anniversary. I did not pay for the upgrade, but I was able to do it.
In some form.
I think Survival Mode was free when the Anniversary Edition came out because it had like a few free like things or whatever.
Sanity check.
Before we get too far away from this though, Pokemon Legends Arceus, I am excited for it, but I'm just a little bit more on the fence just because my last couple Pokemon purchases, I finished Sword and Shield, did none of the end game content, never even caught one of the legendary dogs because I was very not happy with it by that point. Because the only challenging fight in that entire game is the last one. For like the gym leaders, the rest of it, no joke. You can have one Pokemon that is just the weakness of whatever gym you're at, and you will wipe them. It's not the shared EXP being automatic is a fucking problem for adults that play the game. Is really what it boils down to. Children, it's probably there to help them and stuff like that because they don't understand like the type mixing and matching and all that kind of stuff or whatever.
Okay, yeah,
and,
no,
Yeah.
and that doesn't even go into like all the moves that do different shit, and you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
It's
there's a lot
kind
of
of-
strategy there.
I feel like it's kind of been that way with Pokemon games for a long time though, where you can just go in and wipe a gym with one even
Yeah, but you'd at least have to
equivalent.
fucking grind before. You don't even have to do that because your whole
Yeah.
team levels up with you now. You can have one Pokemon that you're good with or that has a good move set or whatever, and you will wipe the game. I basically played all of Sword and Shield with Bolthound or Hound or whatever the fuck you say his name, and I just wiped everybody. And I mean, it just I don't know. I was like level 70, I think, by the time I finished. So
Yeah, and then you also didn't put a lot of time into Pokemon Snap, right?
I didn't.
Yeah.
Like it's fun, but I was really hoping my kids, specifically my oldest, would want to play with it a little bit more. I was excited today though because I have a little Pikachu keychain that I keep a couple of my work keys on, and I'm using one of my airman's cars to drive back and forth from work for now or whatever while he's deployed. And she was like, "Ooh, what's this?" She's like, "This is Pokemon," and I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "That's Pikachu," and she's like, "Pikachu?" I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "What is it?" I'm like, "It's a mouse." And she's like, "Oh, okay." I was like,
Cute.
"Yes,
Getting
yes."
your
Here we
hooks.
go.
You're just
Here we go.
starting it.
Here we go. I was like, "Let's get this going in the right direction." They
Oh,
see me with the
man.
Pokemon cards. She likes to look at the Pokemon cards. So
There you go.
yeah, I'm getting there a little slowly but surely, kind of thing.
I
So,
gotta buy more cards because my daughter loves them.
I almost did buy some more cards recently. The pre-order for the new set came out.
Oh.
But first, I have weird things with my address when I try and order things. It'll do like that autocorrect thing where like, did you mean this address? And it looks exactly the same. Like I honestly don't know what the fuck the difference is. And the official Pokemon website is like PokemonCenter.com or some shit like that. And it keeps saying my address is wrong, and I'm like, no, it's not though. Like,
Shit.
this is my address.
Where
So
am
it
I?
won't let me ship here. So yeah.
While we were talking about this, I sanity checked myself. It is in special edition now, Ben. So it was I think they added it in with the anniversary
Update. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. They give away free shit for long time owners and stuff like that. So it makes sense. So
You know how they do it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, boys, we talked a lot, and people are probably sick of listening to us. So
Yeah,
anybody
I know.
got some
I'm
closing
sick of
thoughts?
listening to us.
Closing thoughts. What we got?
I can't wait to see Cody play The Lost Vikings when it gets put on Game Pass, because I feel like that's probably a Viking game that he hasn't played. And now Xbox has
I
access
almost
to it.
guarantee it is. Yeah. I almost guarantee it is.
All right, hold on.
Check it out.
It's not on Steam.
Lost Vikings is cool,
it's not?
man.
Oh
No,
when's
there's
the last
like,
Lost Vikings game? Oh God, it's been a long time.
yeah, it's definitely.
That doesn't
been
mean
an
it's not on
age.
Steam. I'm just saying.
It's not
I
on Steam.
think it's I think it was available through like Blizzard's
see this
launcher
card.
for a while, but I don't know
Yeah.
if it's still like somehow in there. But it's like a side-scrolling puzzle game where you control 3 Vikings and you switch
Mhm.
between them, and they all have like different things they can do, and you have to use their different abilities to solve the puzzles basically. Very challenging, very fun. I liked it a lot. I forget what it came out for originally. It must have been like
An
Sega
arcade game.
Genesis or something like back in that era.
Okay. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
why I don't
Yeah,
know what the fuck
it
you're
probably
talking
came
about.
out in that era, but I think it was mostly an arcade game, wasn't it?
Could be. I'm not sure.
Probably.
Oh,
Let me see.
but as a
Let me look it
follow
up.
up to that thought, I'm excited for all of these IPs to become cool cosmetics in Sea of Thieves.
Ooh.
Oh, you're excited for them to become NFTs, you mean? Okay, got it.
No, Tim. Oh my god.
Oh man.
You mean Xbox isn't gonna pull a Konami and just sell literal JPEGs of their fucking things? Did we talk about that?
No,
last
we didn't
week?
talk about that.
No.
God
How
damn it,
did we not
Konami.
talk about that?
Because nobody wants to continue to hear about NFTs being abused
Okay,
for no
but-
fucking reason.
But we do need to make fun of Konami.
Yeah,
because
just
it's
another
like-
quick
Wait.
fuck Konami.
The disrespect.
It
Wait,
was
no,
for
we-
Castlevania's 30th anniversary. They have
Oh,
these
that.
images, like these Castlevania stills, basically, and they're
Yeah.
sold them as NFTs for absurd amounts of money.
And people were literally right-click saving as and being like, "Oh, I own this now."
Way to
Yeah.
celebrate a beloved franchise by trying to cash
Yeah.
in as hard as you possibly can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I should just start selling NFTs.
good. People make an ass ton of money doing it.
Just
I mean,
random fucking screenshots of games I've played on Steam. Here's your NFT. There you go.
Oh, hold on. Did you guys see that Elena Pierce got put on the cover of, like, somebody photoshopped
Yeah,
her
I
on the
saw
cover
that.
of
I saw that. Yeah.
Blacked or something like that, which, if you're not familiar, is like a porno mag, and then they minted it as an NFT and tried to sell it.
Yeah,
that
and
legal?
Carnage responded to it and said that what the fuck did he say? He said that something similar had happened to him, and she responded, she said, yeah, but was it on the cover of Blacked though? Because I feel like you would fit right in on there. Like, oh
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, she took it in stride, but that's just kind of how crazy that shit is. I do want to say, I would love, for my closing thought, I would love to see Singularity get a sequel. Always been a game I've been super interested in, just never kind of got into it. So a sequel or a remaster, I think, would be very good for those IPs that Xbox has now. Also, bring back Zork. All right?
The fuck is Zork?
You don't know what Zork is? Oh no! You've never played Zork? It's like
I don't
it's
think
like
so.
D&D, but you don't need anybody else. It's
Oh.
literally text based.
Oh, okay. Was that like the classic one where you get eaten by a ghoul?
Yeah.
I've heard
Okay.
I've heard a nerdcore rap song about it. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. It's one is hard as fuck. Like,
Ooh.
I've tried to play it a couple different times, and I end up going in circles because I can't keep track of stuff. So if they could take Zork and just, like, update it into today's world in some way, shape, or form, I think that'd be great.
They should
Bring
update
back
it, make it as like an audio, like primarily audio thing where you speak like that Siri Skyrim thing, dude.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff.
Here's how out of touch I am with.
Why did you just make yourself sound like you're fucking 60?
Well, Justin said I heard a nerdcore song about it one time, and my brain immediately went B Bear and Z1 because I thought of Headshot.
Oh my god!
Because that's like the last nerdcore rap song I could think of. was Headshot by Zealous One from like we were in high school.
People don't even know who FPS Doug is anymore. That's like old lore now.
Old lore. We're so old.
Kind of like it though.
Oh, I'm kind of surprised it hasn't been retconned out of existence yet.
Yeah.
So, by the way, there's a term for that when things from your life actually get retconned out of it. It's called the Mandela. That's just what happened. You just it's just the world of retconning your childhood.
All right, boys. You got anything else?
No, I think that's it for me, man. The game calendar starts next week with Pokemon, and it's just crazy shit from there. Any other titles coming up that you guys are excited for? Obviously, Elden Ring.
Sifu.
Yeah, Sifu on the 8th, is it?
Yeah.
I'm
off for the next 3 weeks as well, so I might pick up a couple of these and try and put some time in them. My wife's having surgery, so I've only have so much time, but yeah.
Yeah, Project Triangle Strategy is coming out on the Switch. I'm gonna pick that up.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah, so good games. Dying Light 2.
Good times.
Horizon Forbidden West. Yep, a lot of good shit.
Yeah.
Dying Light 2, yeah, I look forward to sinking 500 hours into Dying Light 2.
No, fuck that shit.
You don't have to spend that much time playing it.
You don't have to, but I didn't have to spend 500 hours in Shadow of War either. And here we are. Here we fucking are.
Yeah, it's very true.
Dude.
My closing thought is WB is making another game that's going to have the Nemesis system in it, and I actually don't know how I feel about it.
Great. For Wonder Woman? Their Wonder Woman game?
For Wonder Woman, yeah. Which I think a Wonder Woman game could be really cool. Don't get me wrong. It's not the superhero game I would have picked, but it's still it's probably going to be pretty cool.
Should have been Batman.
I mean, you're just going to take the Arkham... You're literally going to take Shadow of War combat, but give her a shield, and, that's the game, right? So it's not that far off from Batman.
Yeah.
And
I don't know anything about
yeah.
Wonder Woman, so I'm not really excited. But I would love to see like a Halo game with a Nemesis system. Like that would be a great world for that.
I mean, if Xbox ever buys WB, then that could happen because they copyrighted or they trademarked it or copyrighted or whatever they did.
Yeah,
I
the
forget.
system itself.
They patented it. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah. But yeah, I think that that could be pretty cool. So that's a game that I'm kind of looking forward to because I probably will try it just because I think the Nemesis system is super cool.
Definitely one that
It
not
is.
a lot of people have talked about yet. So it'll be interesting to see how that develops.
Yeah.
All right. That's
Alrighty.
it. That's us. That's Ola.
Till next week. And we'll be back.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.